for Officer Boyd.
My wife tried to drown my son. I mean, how did this thing turn around?
No. We took that report that day.
No, there's no report on that.
How do you know?
Because I didn't file it. I didn't write it. I tried to give the report, and nobody would take it.
My name is Susan Hughes with Child Protective Services.
You basically helped her kidnap my kids, and you started...
kidnap your kids?
Because kidnapping is taking somebody by force or fraud.
One Bronx man is trying to make his mark on the big screen and behind the scenes. He filmed a documentary of himself traveling across the country and overcoming some extreme obstacles. News 12's Amber Marie Noggle has more.
Tishan Padilla traveled 25,000 miles, visited more than 70 cities, and spent $20,000, all of which he caught on tape. He packed his Durango and set off, alone. This Bronx filmmaker says what started as a vacation to Hollywood, California, turned into a 5-month documented voyage. He's not even sure if he's done filming his documentary yet, or if his journey is over.
On November 25th, 2011, I witnessed my wife trying to drown my 9-month-old son. I intervened, and he is still alive today. Because she had a history of making false allegations, when I realized what she was doing, I knew that if I didn't have evidence and I tried to report her, she would retaliate by making false allegations against me. My wife is a psychiatric nurse who worked with children and families for almost 15 years. Part of her job was taking parents to family court and helping them word their statements. She was also required to work with ACS caseworkers, so she knew the system well, and she could manipulate it easily if she wanted to. I needed evidence to protect my kids. On December 9th, 2011, 2 weeks later, she jumped out of my car while I was driving and then tried to rip my daughter out of her car seat and drag her through 2 miles of farmland at night. Even though I had no physical evidence other than my testimony, I knew that I had to take my children to the police and report the attempted drowning incident and the driving incident. When she realized I was going to the police, she called them before I got there and told them I was crazy and delusional. When I got to the station, the officer refused to take the attempted murder report. At the time, I didn't understand why, but he did, however, take the driving incident report. The next day, she conspired with her family and friends to kidnap my kids and falsely accused me of having a mental illness, and also told them she feared for her safety. This added to my lack of credibility, and she successfully thwarted my written report of attempted murder. Before this, she never made any reports of any incidents of abuse, nor was there any evidence of a history of mental illness on my part. Yet, Goshen Town Police and Orange County CPS helped her take my children. How? She used her knowledge of social services, family court, and psychology to mislead them. She capitalized on the fact that the main officer involved was working 24 hours straight, and the incompetent CPS caseworker assigned to the case was already being sued in a wrongful death suit that made national headlines. With all of these factors in place, she abducted my children using deception and took them to a location where they were not likely to be found by the parties involved. She initially held them in this manner for 49 hours before she was found. Because my children were still young, she easily restrained them and restricted their movements. She did all of this to try and compel me to refrain from reporting her crimes against my kids. She misled authorities by her false allegations, making it look like she was trying to gain custody. This was all to avoid being arrested for attempted murder. She continued her deception into family court and took advantage of the system she was familiar with. By the time everyone realized that I was truly documenting everything, they had all incriminated themselves by aiding her in this kidnapping. They also accumulated significant liability. Instead of maintaining justice, the parties involved who were already in trouble for other incidents, thought they could crush me in family court and that I would give up. She successfully turned a criminal case into a family court case where a female psychiatric nurse, who is the mother of 3, could get away with attempted murder. I came back to New York after shooting The Adventures of Highwaychild for 2 years. Jurema and I got married on November 24th, 2006. I got my job back as a freelance photographer at News 12, but I was only working 3 to 4 days a week. My wife had a full-time job and was making about 4 times as much as me. It was during this time that I began editing The Adventures of Highwaychild. Our friend from church rented us an illegal apartment, so we had to move in a hurry. Jurema made arrangements for us to move into her parents' house. We rented the top 2 floors and they moved to the basement apartment. They said they wanted to save money because they were moving to Florida. I didn't like it, but we had no other option. On November 27th, 2007, Hannah Padilla came into my life and changed it forever. Hannah was my firstborn child. We spent a lot of time together because my primary responsibility was staying home with her. We did a lot of things together, mostly just her and I. Those were some of the best days of my life. At first, there were incidents that looked like mistakes, accidents that happen as you're learning how to be a parent. When these accidents occurred, I addressed them. I tried to show my wife how things could be done differently next time. The injuries kept occurring, and I started to see that she was defensive and purposely ignoring my advice. I tried on many occasions to let her know that because Hannah was getting hurt, she needed to put aside her pride. It was about Hannah, not Jurema's feelings. There were ways to avoid the injuries. Jurema just wasn't willing to hear me. Eventually, she began reacting to my advice with rage. As the incidents escalated, I escalated my reactions accordingly. I tried talking to Jurema's family, but they made excuses for her. I tried talking to my friends, but they gave me bad advice. I got hired at a new sports station called MSG Varsity. They were paying me $500 to $1,000 a day to work from home, 5 to 7 days a week. I was making good money. My wife even started talking about quitting her job. My son, Tishan Juan Padilla II, is born. And the rage and abuse escalates. Jurema started getting worse, so I started taking fewer shifts so I could stay home with the kids. Jurema became upset by this and started complaining about money. I was down to 3 to 4 days a week at work, but I was still making $1,500 to $2,000 a week. She takes Tishan outside in a t-shirt and pamper in 20-degree weather to yell at me. Sometime between February or March of 2010, Jerema goes into a fit of rage while holding Tishan. She begins shaking him and refuses to stop. His head is bouncing around and he's only 2 months old. May 2010. Jerema leaves Hannah and Tishan unattended in the car with the door ajar and the key in the ignition. May of 2010. She locked Hannah out on the porch when I was leaving for work. We tried mediation with her friends from church. They made excuses for her. Then we tried marital counseling and things started looking better. But then she stopped going and I went alone. My grandmother wanted to meet my son Tishan, so she sent me money to purchase plane tickets for all of us to go to Puerto Rico. My wife and I thought it might be a good opportunity to get away and calm things down. With the money my grandmother sent, I immediately purchased 3 plane tickets on Priceline.com. One for me, one for my wife Jerema, one for my daughter Hannah, and my son Tishan was allowed to fly for free. I printed out the itinerary and Priceline sent me a confirmation email. Jerema hit my daughter Hannah in the face with a doll. Now, it looked like a dumb mistake. After I comforted Hannah, I asked Jerema why she threw the doll in Hannah's face. Jerema got defensive and started yelling and went into a fit of rage. Her anger escalated and she declared that the trip to Puerto Rico was canceled and no one was going. I told her she could stay, but my grandmother already paid for the trip and the kids and I were going. Her anger continued to escalate. I asked her to calm down because she was scaring the kids. I told her I was taking them to my aunt's house until she calmed down. I asked my aunt to come over to be a witness. When she arrived, we drove back to her house. Jerema called me repeatedly, threatening to have me arrested for kidnapping and threatening to go to court. My son Tishan was sick that day. Jerema was the only one who knew what the doctor's instructions were. I asked her for his instructions, but she refused. She withheld the information and used it as a bargaining chip so that I would come back with the kids. I told her I wasn't coming back till she calmed down. Her friend, Victor Benitez Jr., an NYPD officer, then called me. He told me that I could be arrested for kidnapping. I explained the situation to him and asked him to get the doctor's instructions from her. He complied. I reminded them that I would return the next afternoon. They all knew where we were. I used the house landline to speak with them on the phone. After several hours, she seemed to calm down, and she told me that she was not going to take legal action. I returned home with the kids early in the afternoon. She seemed calm, and we talked in the bedroom privately. Her stepfather, Joe Parson, then entered the room, and he served me with Jerema's petition for custody. She now had temporary custody of my children. Here is what she stated. Tishan Padilla obtained custody of the children on June 21, 2010 as follows. Respondent took the children from the home. Petitioner is unaware of the children's current location. It would be in the best interest of the children to have custody awarded to Jerema LaBoy for the following reasons. Petitioner and respondent got into an argument. Respondent took the children from the home and has threatened to take them to Puerto Rico. Respondent has already purchased plane tickets. Petitioner requests sole custody of the children because she does not want them taken out of the country. What Jerema alleged amounted to kidnapping. She knew where I was, and she made it appear as if I bought the tickets in an attempt to flee to Puerto Rico, a commonwealth of the United States. Jurema and I go to court together. When we get there, I explain to her in the waiting area that I have the receipt for the flight, and it proves she was lying. When we go before the referee, Sarah P. Cooper Esquire, Jurema immediately drops the charges. When we get home, she apologizes, she smiles, and she asks if she can still go on the trip. At this point, I had the right and good reason to take the kids without her, but I knew she would do it again, so to prevent further incident, I allowed her to come with us to Puerto Rico.
Just. T-shirt. T-shirt. T-shirt.
Now that I saw that she was willing to falsely accuse me in court and try to obtain custody of the kids, I realized that I needed evidence of her abuse of my children. I had to do something to protect my kids if this escalated. I already started keeping a log, but she found it and tore it up. Luckily, I typed it on the computer, so I had the original, but a log wasn't enough. I needed solid proof. I did some research and learned that in the state of New York, you can legally record a conversation with someone without telling them. It's called one-party consent. New York is a one-party consent state. It was after midnight. The kids were asleep. I pressed record on my phone. I placed the phone in my pocket. I approached Jurema and began a conversation. I attempted to cover as many previous incidents as possible for the purpose of obtaining some evidence of her abuse.
So I'm trying to make the point of like whether or not we both agree that this is serious. A couple other things aside from this. When you left, the day when you left Hannah in the car with the key in the car, with the engine on, the door open, and Hannah in the car, and you were in the kitchen. I mean, I want to ask you a question about that, but you remember that, right? You did that, right?
Why can't it just be like, okay?
I'm just asking. I just want to move on to something else, but you did that, right?
Well, I don't understand something.
Okay, I'm getting there. I just need you to. I can't go forward until you did that, right?
You know what I did and what I didn't do.
But come on, Jurema, I'm asking you a question. Did you do that?
You know what I did and what I didn't do. You're bringing it up for a reason, so I don't know why I'm going to go through each scene of what I did and didn't do.
I believe that I saw you leave Hannah in the car with the key in the ignition, with the engine on, the door open, and you were in the kitchen. Do you feel the same? Did you do that?
And I was in the kitchen? I wasn't in the kitchen.
Where were you?
I wasn't in the kitchen. I didn't come up here, hang out up here, and leave her in the house. I just came.
Where?
I went to the front porch.
So you left her in the car.
She was in the car.
And you came in the front porch.
In the driveway, in the car, and I came to the front porch. And you know I came to the front porch because I dropped those keys in the front porch. It wasn't like I just decided let me just go and out of nowhere. Because you were in the front porch too.
I remember seeing you in the kitchen. But fine.
In the kitchen.
That's what I remember of this situation. That's why it bothered me. If you were in the porch, it really wouldn't have bothered me as much. So, we're talking about the car issue. And like shaking when you got angry and you shake the baby.
I didn't shake the baby. I'm not gonna go.
When you were angry and we were arguing.
No, I didn't shake the baby.
The baby his head wasn't bouncing around?
No, it wasn't like baby shake syndrome, so I'm not even saying that.
Okay, was his head bouncing around?
I don't know, because I didn't have a mirror, but guess how you felt.
Wait, he was in your arms.
You felt one way and I felt another way.
But what happened though? What's your recollection? If this was like a police report.
I don't believe that I shake the baby. That's the bottom line. I believe that I had the
His
baby.
head wasn't shaking?
I don't know, because I didn't see him. You obviously felt a certain way about it. I didn't. You felt his head was all over the place and he was experiencing baby shake syndrome.
That's what I saw.
Okay.
And when you got angry.
I didn't feel that way.
When you got angry and you ran out the house and
Are you recording? Are you recording? Like, so you want to go down when you got angry? My point is.
I'm not understanding.
My point is that your interaction with me, the way you speak to me, is consistently negative, and you have to. You don't know how to engage in a conversation. You don't know how to be around me without being negative.
So how? If let's say you're at work.
You just don't know how to do it.
Let's say you're at work. And you see, let's say you're at work and you see all these things that I'm saying that I'm seeing. How do you handle that?
You know what? First of all,
how do I handle it? Tell me how to handle it.
You should have handled it for every single incident. You said for all those incidents, okay, you forgave because I apologize and you need to move on. If you don't move on, that's not my problem. I moved on already. I've forgiven myself. God's forgiven me. I'm not a prisoner of your heart. Like if you choose to move on.
But that's how you deal with your clients?
Yes.
I forgive you and that's it? There's no change that has to happen?
Yes. I'm not in trial here. Number two, you cannot feel like you got to put me in a place that I got to perform and do everything for you every single day of my life. I can't live like that, Tishan.
So
it's too negative.
So if you repeatedly don't strap the kids in the car,
well, we're not in that place.
You just need an apology?
We're not in that place, though.
But it's just an apology? Yeah, you've done it on...
Yes, but that's over, Tishan. That's over.
It still happens.
No, it's not. It doesn't happen.
It still happens.
I strapped them in now. So that was before. And that was just incidences. There were things that happened. There were contexts. There were things that you've done, things that I've done. But you cannot justify every single day why you have the disposition towards me that's negative, that you're going to remind me of my past.
Okay.
Every single day.
So yesterday... You locked me out.
And that was
you
an
left,
accident.
You left the kids.
That's not negligent.
That's negligent.
No, it's not. Because I didn't say, okay, I'm
locked the
door.
No, that's not negligence.
An accident.
Negligence is not saying I'm doing it on purpose. Negligence is doing it by mistake, not realizing what you're doing, not paying attention.
That's a mistake.
That's negligence.
That's a mistake, Tishan.
Negligence. You locked me out.
It's intentionally leaving something undone and saying,
negligence is not intentional.
Well, I wasn't negligent by saying, okay, you know what?
So that wasn't negligent. So yesterday you locked me out the house with the kids in the house.
For leaving that. I did. I said I'm sorry to the kids. I said I'm sorry. I forgave myself. If you, again...
That's not negligence, so?
It doesn't matter. I apologize. I said, man, that's messed up. I took responsibility. I said, wow, I made a mistake. But guess what? I got to move on. I can't live my life like, oh, my God, I'm a horrible person. Let me put my head down. Let me live in the condemnation because I made mistakes. I can't live like that. If you're going to hold a grudge to me, every single thing that I do that's not right, do it to yourself.
I'm not holding a grudge.
You are, because today you made it a point to say, oh, and yesterday you have negligence, and this is what you do. And you made it a point.
Because you just told me.
Always bring stuff in the past.
Because you just told me that you're done. That stuff is in the past. But you still, the issue is the negligence.
And it's an accident.
Wait, let's not yell.
The point is, I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of you bringing up my past. I'm tired of you making it a point.
But it's not the past. It was yesterday.
Every single day.
It happened again.
It is the past because today's a new day. So if I said I'm sorry.
So what am I supposed to do?
Then you choose what to do with that because I moved on. That's not my problem that you stuck there. I said I'm sorry. Did I not apologize?
But I'm not saying. Yes, you apologize.
Okay, so I have to move on now.
But I'm asking, okay, fine. But I'm asking you, a person who does this for a living, I'm asking you, when you see a series of events,
first of all,
does there have to be some kind of work toward not doing those things again?
What about with your behavior? Let's look at your behavior every single day.
Wait, we're talking about the kids.
No, it doesn't matter what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the kids' safety, because if you and I need to get a divorce, we can get a divorce.
Behavior.
I
have a problem with behavior.
I'm talking about the safety of our children.
Teacher, whatever you want to do with the safety of our children, with the dependent relationships, you continue to keep alive. Because in my heart, I I know that I'm that bad parent, that I'm not out there abusing my children, and I'm not going to live under condemnation. I'm not going to live with my head buried in the sand that I'm a horrible mother every single day. Because
that's not what I'm trying to do.
Remind me of things that haven't
That's not what I'm trying to do.
Well, that's what you are doing.
I'm coming to you, bringing accountability, saying, you said that you were going to do
and
this.
And I did it. So what are you going to do when I don't do it?
Bring it back up.
And if I
to remind you.
Okay, and if I don't do it?
Bring it back up.
Okay, and if I don't do it?
Then I keep bringing it back up.
You should let it go. That's what you should do.
I should let it go.
Yes, you should let it go.
Wait.
You should try letting it go.
Let it go.
I don't bring things in your life to change every single day. I'm not saying to you.
What am I doing to the kids?
Forget about the kids, because how you treat me affects the kids. So get over this idea
let's talk about
your behavior towards me is isolated and that, like, I just do everything wrong with the kids and you're just in this bubble and nothing you do affects the kids.
Okay, do I do anything directly to the kids that puts them in danger?
Tisha, I'm not putting my kids in danger.
You yesterday locking me out the house, that wasn't
putting the kids in danger? First of all, I didn't know you had those damn keys and that was a mistake, okay?
But that doesn't mean the kids were not in danger.
And we're over that, Tisha, and I'm over this conversation because the purpose of why I came down here is to say I am tired of you being negative towards me. Because you think I'm
an unfair parent. Can we keep focused? Do I do anything to the kids that puts them in danger?
So, exactly.
I'm asking you.
Because you feel like I put our kids in danger, you're going to let me know every single day of my life that I'm doing something wrong, right?
So when you burned Hannah in the sink when she was young, that was not danger?
And that's in the past.
When you slammed Hannah's finger in the door, when you got angry.
That was an accident. Okay?
That was an accident, but you were angry. It was out of your anger, though.
Yes, it was out of my anger, but guess what? I took responsibility. Again, you can bring up Tisha and do whatever you want to do. I'm going to sleep, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'm still over my head up high because I'm still a good parent, and I'm not living under your condemnation, and that's why I stand today. I'm not. So when you talk to me and tell me, Jerema, look at this, and you decide, why is she walking out the house?
So what about when you locked Hannah outside on the porch? You locked her out.
I'm not answering anymore. I'm done. I am not paying attention.
So you didn't do that?
So if you want to stay in that place, and that's what you want, don't scratch your head and say, where's our marriage going? Why are we in this spot? Because I am not living like that. All they have in their mind is record of the past, because that's what you do.
Because you're hurting the kids.
Look at the present. Oh, that's right. I'm hurting the kids.
You've hurt the kids.
Make a decision what you want to do.
You've hurt the kids.
Make a decision what you want to do.
Wait, why can't you just say,
I'm done.
Why can't you just say, I'm gonna do something to change?
Okay.
You haven't. That's why I bring it up, because you're not doing anything. You're just making excuses, and then a new thing happens. Why can't you just be accountable? Why can't there be accountability? Well, I can't be accountable to you because you have no mercy. And you told mercy? You're full of crap. You took me to court.
Yes, you don't have no mercy because every single day that somebody has mercy doesn't bring up their past. That is not mercy. That's what you do.
Because I'm trying to fix it.
You sit here and you say, I have mercy on you. I have mercy on you. But let me remind you what you do. Because they remind you, I have mercy on you. Is that mercy?
Yesterday, I didn't show mercy on you yesterday?
What?
Did I get in your face and yell because you locked me out the house and left the kids in the house alone?
That could have been you.
But it hasn't been.
Okay, but if it was,
but it's
I
not.
Treat you the way you treat me when anything happens with Hannah.
But
when Hannah took it from the stairs, that I come there and condemn you. When Hannah was figuring the beach, that I condemn you. That I stay there and make sure that you felt horrible as a person. Do I do that? You want to see me feel like I'm sick, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Do not have what's in conversation with me if you cannot have a conversation with me any other way. Every single day, Keishan. I'm so tired, man. I can't do it no more. Every day. You don't say good morning. You don't say hi. You don't say anything. The first time I get off is something stupid, something condescending, something degrading, something sarcastic. Oh,
yeah?
You're going to do that? Oh, I'm going to work now. Are you really going to work? Oh, it's always something like, trying to be stupid.
Because you don't. Because you don't.
All the time.
Because you don't do anything you say.
Just leave me alone.
How can I believe you when you do not do anything that you say you're going to do? My point is... Okay, let's turn it down. We don't have to yell.
I'm tired of it, man.
So what do you want?
I just don't want you to talk to me. Because maybe if you don't talk to me, I could finally honestly have a bigger peace of mind.
Okay, how long do you not want me to talk to you?
As long as it takes for you to stop feeling the need to be the Holy Spirit in my life.
So if something happens again, do you want me to say something or I can't say anything? let's say you lock me out again with the kids in the house.
It's world, like you said.
Okay, but tell me what to do in the future.
Stop doing what you're doing in the present, because obviously it's not working.
What? I can't tell you, hey, you
Actually, so why do you feel the need to be so negative in my life?
It's not negativity.
It's not negativity.
It's making you accountable for the mistakes that you make with the kids that hurt the kids.
Okay, and the kids are so hurt today. They're so hurt. They're like so abused because of
Hannah has a gash, a huge gash on her leg while she was with you.
She was not with me, number one. She was not with me.
She was chasing after you?
She was with my mother, and my mother opened the door, and she was running. That's not because of me. I didn't
That's
say,
a big
hey,
gash.
Go on the floor, little girl. I'm going to run. Oh, I don't see you. Just go on the floor. Sorry, you're on the floor. I'm sorry. No, that's not what happened. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of you trying to act like.
So Hannah getting her finger slammed in the door. Well, that's not her?
Everything. You know what? You need to learn how to let things go and stay in the present. You live in the past.
You can't be back and forth.
No, you live in the damn past. You live in the past. I'm not in the past, teacher. That was freaking 2 years ago, and I'm free. I am not living in the past, so get with the program, because I'm not living in the past.
But you're still making a mistake.
I am not living in the past. Guess what?
Today, you made a mistake today.
Today, I'm a new person, and I got to move on. My head is up high, and I can't.
Today, you left my keys in the mailbox. Not a big deal. But yesterday, you locked me out the house with the kids in the house.
Guess what? I forgave myself and I moved on. If you want to say stuff in there, talk as well. I'm not there.
So
that's the point. The point is, I'm not there.
How do I feel like I can trust you?
You don't. That's the bottom line. It's not about how you feel.
You're not doing anything for me to trust you with the kids.
I'm not going to say what I'm going to do because God forbid if I don't do it, then again you said something you don't want to do. So I'm not going to make any promises to you. I'm not going to say anything because it's not about what I need to do for us so we can be family. It's like do whatever you got to do so that I can make sure if you don't do it, I can bring it up again. So I don't have a problem.
Jerema, don't you understand that I've been giving you a chance to resolve these things, but that if you continue like this with your anger and your rage,
and my anger and rage, like you don't have anger and rage, people.
But I don't hurt the kids.
You hurt me. Then I hurt the damn kids. Get over your damn self. You're walking in a damn freaking cloud, like you're just in.
How do I hurt you?
And you're walking around and you're like, oh my God, don't tell me I'm abusive because I'm so nice to you. I'm so beautiful. Nothing I do is ever wrong.
Yes.
Only you,
yes.
Draymond.
It's difficult.
You have so much problems.
Yes, it's difficult.
Only you, Draymond. Because
okay.
Not me.
You and I don't get along. Fine. You and I don't get along, but I'm talking to you about the safety of our kids.
And our kids are in freaking danger, so get over it, Keisha.
But you locked them.
Yesterday. It was yesterday. Today's a freaking new day. I said I'm sorry. You can't let it go? Top. You can't let shit go.
Because you have a pattern of at least once a month you do something to the kids that hurts them.
Okay. So, do whatever you gotta do, Keisha. That's the bottom line. Do whatever you gotta do. I'm going to say that. You're going to freaking chase me out of your sense?
No, I'm not going to chase you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to, talk some sense here, and you're back and forth between yelling at me and saying I'm being negative and saying that you don't do these things, but now you're saying you do.
I can't live like this, Lotisha. I can't live every single day. You know what that's like. You know what it's like to get up every single day, 365 days damn year. Then every single day, let's check. Your error for today is, let's find out.
You slammed my daughter's finger in the door.
Let's see.
You burned my daughter in the sink with hot water.
Oh my God, door. Whatever. I gotta go. Are you finished? Because I'm gonna.
Those are small things to you?
They're over. They're being to the past. And I'm not perfect. I never said I was perfect.
Who are you talking to?
I don't even know what else.
You just got somebody involved. Who did you just call because they just heard everything you just said?
They didn't hear everything. When you said who'd you call, I kicked it off. They didn't hear everything. Want to call so you can make sure?
No, Jerema, relax.
God forbid.
You sound like
somebody hears you being negative. God forbid, because you want to make sure.
Look, we don't have to disagree about this. You and I do not get along.
No, we don't.
But we still have to take care of our children.
Okay, so I'll take care of my kids. That's it. I'll take care of my kids. And I don't need.
But we have to work together.
No, we ain't working together. It's your way or no way. That's the bottom line.
But if you leave my kid in a car in the street with the key, I can't.
Again.
It's over?
I don't live there. So you want to continue? You want to bring your list? You want to bring it to the court and be like, you burned my daughter, you did this.
You just in Puerto Rico, Hannah almost drowned.
She almost drowned.
And you didn't even see. You weren't even watching her.
Because you were there with her.
But you weren't even watching.
But you were standing next to her. So So does that make me a bad parent?
I had Tishan.
That makes me a bad parent that I didn't see her.
You didn't even see.
I didn't see her.
If I was
looking somewhere else, but you were next to her. Okay, you were next to her. You were next to her.
But everything you have an excuse for.
Everything. That's right. I have an excuse for everything because I'm an imperfect person.
Like when I took the kids, you didn't even want to tell me how to take care of Tishan.
Yes, right.
I had to get it from Junior.
Yes, because taking the children that were sick, that was really healthy. That was like.
But you refused.
Taking the kids has nothing to do with me being not fit. You taking the kids is the point of saying.
I took the kids because you were getting like this.
Oh no, and you want.
Because you hit Hannah in the face with a dog.
I didn't hit her on purpose. You make things bigger than what they are, and you exaggerate.
But how many times you gonna say I didn't do it on purpose?
You make stuff.
How many times though you gonna say I didn't do it on purpose?
You know what? I cannot be with you. I swear to God, I cannot be with you. So I can't wait till you guys. I can't wait till you work and do what you gotta do. I really can't, because I cannot live like this anymore. I honestly can't do it anymore.
So what's gonna happen with our children now?
Our children will be fine. Guess what? They'll be fine. They love. They ain't gonna suffer.
But what are we gonna do?
Fears, they're gonna suffer.
But what are we gonna do?
Do whatever you have to do, Tisha.
What do you want to do?
I'm not fighting you anymore. I'm so tired of proving myself, trying to make myself a person. I'm losing myself. I'm freaking dying here, trying to sustain some water so that I can freaking even just maintain some freaking normalcy. To get up in the morning, like I'm feeling fucking depressed here. I'm like, I can't do this, man. I'm losing myself totally. Every day, every single day, there's something negative. I cannot live like this. I cannot live like this. I am freaking.
How do you think I feel?
Well, you know what?
When you don't do what you say you're gonna do.
I am in your life now.
I'm not forcing you.
I walked into your shoes.
Wait.
And I said, you know what?
You didn't walk into my shoes. You didn't walk into my
you're
shoes.
talking about how miserable
Look.
you are. So I can't.
Look.
I can't.
I'm not forcing you to tell me what. I'm not forcing you to do things. You're giving me solutions. You're giving me solutions that you're gonna do, but you're not following through.
You don't hear anything I'm saying. All you hear is.
But you're not following through. So what do you want me to do?
Do whatever.
Am I just supposed to drop it?
Do whatever you need to do. I don't know what to tell you. You're trying to make an image. First of all, you ain't no dang. I ain't freaking his wife. I ain't no freaking bipolar, crazy ass bitch. You are not gonna take the kids from me, assuming that I'm just gonna create this.
You're not bipolar. Look at you. You came in calm, and look at you right now.
I'm upset. Why am I to be upset?
Okay,
you know
fine.
Anger is a real emotion.
Fine.
And it's not me.
Wait.
I'm angry. I can be upset.
Well, you're not passive.
In my own house.
You admitted to me that you were passive aggressive last night. That you struggled with. You admitted to me that you got a problem with lying.
So what? So what? Because you're my husband. Because I actually trust that you will actually
help you.
No.
Help you?
The way you help me, the way you love me and help me, I don't want it. Because that's not love and that's not help.
Well, I can't make you accountable?
No.
I can't say to you.
Accountable. Make yourself accountable for somebody else. Do what you do to me for myself, man. Get out my freaking life, trying to make me feel like I'm a certain way. I can't deal with it anymore. Tisha, I swear to God, God knows I can't. I honestly can't. No matter how much I love you, I am there. I'm literally dying. I can't do it.
Me neither can I.
I can't.
Neither can I. I cannot allow you to endanger my children any longer. I've given you a chance.
Okay, thank you for giving me.
I've given you mercy.
In your life.
I've given you mercy.
Okay,
I've given you a chance to change your behavior.
Because I'm so dysfunctional.
But you don't.
Thank you.
Because even just yesterday, you locked me out the house with the kids inside the house.
Okay, well, I can't.
And I didn't rub it in your face.
You obviously did.
But I waited to bring it up.
To rub it in my face.
And you don't even let me talk. You don't even want to talk about it. Your response is always, I apologize, and it's over. Let it go. No, there has to be some change.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
Okay? I can't change you in our marriage, but when you endanger our kids, you have to change. Okay. Do you have what have I done to the kids? Do I have a pattern of being negligent with my kids? Answer me that. Do I have a pattern of being negligent with the kids or putting them in danger?
Every day you freaking smoke and coming with that shit. It's every single day.
Smoking what? Cigarettes?
Whatever you smoke.
You know I smoke cigarettes. Because I smoke cigarettes outside on the porch. That's dangerous to my kids.
Are you recording yourself? I want to make sure I stay the porch. Everybody, Your Honor, it's just
Yes, I am recording this. Thank you.
Joe Parson got mugged in the front of our house. He ran and started screaming for my help. I ran outside and confronted the muggers and scared them off. 2 days later, I told him that his actions and behavior was putting my kids and wife at risk. He became enraged and started making threats. Then, at around midnight, while I was sleeping with my son Tishan, Joe Parson called me on my cell, screaming at me and cursing at me and making threats. I told him we are moving. Over the next several days, he continued to make threats to beat me up after he recovered from his injuries. I put my kids and wife in a temporary apartment while I packed. We moved out about a week later. We lived in Yonkers for about 6 months until I was able to find something better. I found a beautiful rental in a beautiful town called Goshen, an hour away from my in-laws. I saw this as a great opportunity to focus on our family. About a week after we moved in, Luke Maxon Padilla was born. That was the first house he ever lived in. I was sitting on the sofa watching TV in the living room. My wife was giving my 2 sons, Tishan and Luke, a bath. Luke was 9 months old at the time. Tishan was 22 months old. I heard Luke crying and then choking, crying and then choking, crying and then choking. I jumped up and ran to the bathroom door to see if he was okay. I saw my wife standing over the tub, motionless and staring down at Luke. He was on the faucet side of the tub. His face was submerged in the bathwater. I noticed that my wife glanced to her left with her eyes only, and she noticed that I was there. Tishan was at the far end of the tub. She immediately scolded my son Tishan, saying, "No, Tishan, don't do that." He wasn't even touching Luke. I stepped forward toward the tub to pick up Luke, and Jerema then stepped in front of me, blocking me, and she picked up Luke. She held him up over the tub, and he spit out about a mouthful of water, and he was choking. His body was all pinkish red from head to toe. I slowly grabbed him from her and asked her, "What are you doing? Why didn't you pick him up?" She became defensive and started saying that she wasn't a child abuser and stop being paranoid and things of that nature. I walked with Luke to his room and comforted him and checked to see if he was okay. His skin color returned and he stopped crying. The only evidence of this is my eyewitness testimony and the fact that she already testified in court that this incident occurred, but she claimed that he was not drowning. I spent the next 2 weeks trying to make sense of what I witnessed. Was it postpartum depression? Was it attempted murder? Whatever it was, I had to be careful because anything I did to protect my kids would result in her retaliation and false allegations. I stayed home with the kids as much as possible from that time on. I was starting to look unreliable at work. I was all alone in this. My kids were playing with my wife's phone and left it on the living room floor, so I put it in the kitchen drawer for safekeeping. Jerema sometimes put her phone in this drawer along with the charger. It was evening and already dark outside. My wife wanted to take the kids to their new friend's house. We got in the car and started driving there. She began talking about an earlier private conversation and began to get upset. Her anger escalated in front of the kids. I asked her to calm down, but she refused. The kids became scared, and I did the only thing I knew. I prayed. I placed my hand on the top of her head as I prayed. This is a customary practice in church. She then became more enraged, so I removed my hand. I made a right turn and told her that we should keep driving till she calmed down. I told her it wasn't a good idea for us to go to the friend's house like this. I drove into a gas station to pull over. The gas station was crowded, and she was making a scene in the car, so I started to drive out. And as I was driving out toward the exit driveway, she opened the door and jumped out of the car, and I simultaneously slammed on the brakes. She then opened the rear passenger door and tried to rip my daughter out of her car seat. I pleaded with her to calm down, but she didn't. She said she was taking Hannah and walking home. I told her I would take her home. I explained to her that we were 2 miles from home and there was nothing but dark roads and farmland between there and home. She got back in the car. I drove back home. When we got to the house, Jerema got out of the car. When she was clear of the vehicle, I drove off with the kids to get them safely away. I let them know that everything was going to be okay. They were calm. Jerema and I had phones on the same account. I had a copy of the phone bill because the calls from both phones appeared on one bill. She called me from Rose Percaro's phone. That was our landlord's wife. I realized that I put her phone in the drawer and she didn't know where it was. I turned the car around and pulled up across the street from the house. I saw Jerema go into the landlord's apartment and then she returned to our apartment. Jerema didn't see me. I called Salvatore Percaro's phone. He was our landlord. I called Rosemary Percaro, the landlord's wife, and I asked her to please tell Jerema that her phone is in the kitchen drawer. Jerema called me from her phone, but it doesn't show on my portion of the bill. Maybe she hung up before it ran. But at this point, she has her phone. She texts me several interesting statements. Number 1, she gave me till 8 p.m. to bring the kids back. If you're not back by 8 with the kids. Number 2, she threatened to call a lawyer and possibly take legal action. I am seeing a lawyer. 3, she claimed that I am abusive physically, mentally, and emotionally to the kids. Your abuse ends tonight. No more talking. I have had it. You're physically abusive and mentally and emotionally to me and the kids. Number 4, she admitted to experiencing or feeling some sort of spirit or demon presence while we were having sex. I could not have enjoyed sex. Felt someone in between us. Number 5, she accused me of having an ongoing affair with a prostitute at that. You made yourself one with a prostitute. You had an ongoing sexual relationship with someone. Let's fast forward 2 days later to December 12, 2011. In a family offense petition to Orange County Family Court, a sworn written document, in the 3rd paragraph, 9 lines down, Jerema LaBoy falsely stated that Tisha Padilla took her cell phone and left the home. At the time she wrote that, she knew that she had the phone and she knew I didn't take it, but she wrote it anyway. She also stated throughout the petition that I was delusional and paranoid. As a result of this paranoia, in the 2nd paragraph, 1st line, she stated that Tisha Padilla believes petitioner has cheated on him and that she needs to repent. But she doesn't state that she thinks I'm having an affair or that she believes she is experiencing demonic activity. In addition, she portrays me as a religious freak and states in one instance in the 1st paragraph, 5 lines down, the respondent has become convinced that he is a prophet, that's how she spelled it, and tells petitioner and others that a storm is coming and all sinners need to repent their sins. Now, I never said that I was a prophet or believed I was a prophet, but I did say a storm was coming, and it did come. I didn't cause that storm. Jerema, her friends, and her family did. But I did in fact tell them that they needed to repent. I'm an evangelist. That's what I do. Obviously, they weren't paying attention. Prior to December 10th, 2011, she had never reported any of this to the police, family court, or social services. Now, the day after I verbally report the drowning incident to the police, a felony crime, she fabricates this weak story to discredit my report. But let's get back to the call and text history. I call her 3 times, but she doesn't pick up. Why? Because she's on the phone with Carmen and Lester Diaz for 95 minutes. Carmen was the person who told me to call ACS on Jerema a year earlier. I call her again. I don't remember if we spoke here or if she put me on hold, but obviously I'm communicating with her, just like when I took the kids to my aunt's house back in 2010. I called Pastor Irving Rivera. We speak for 12 minutes. I explained the situation and told him I don't want to go to the police. He said, "You have to." I felt like he was sincere. I thought he was willing to change. I was still reluctant to report this to the police. I had no evidence of the drowning. I had no evidence that she jumped out of the car and tried to rip Hannah out. And I knew that once I reported it, Jerema would retaliate. All I had was my eyewitness testimony. I made the decision to go to the police. It was my choice. I pulled up down the block from the station and took the kids out. I put them in the stroller and walked to the front desk. I spoke with the woman at the desk and explained the situation. She asked where we lived, and after I told her, she explained that we were at the wrong police station. She said that we had to go to the town of Goshen police, not the village police. She gave me the address and I walked back to the car. I put the kids in and headed to the town of Goshen police station. She called the police before I got there and made it look like I was crazy and lying. She admits that she called the police right after I sped off with the kids. It's not on the phone bill. Why? Because she called on the landlord's phone between 5:45 p.m. and 6:18 p.m., about an hour before I made my report. How do I know she called 911? I wasn't aware of this until April 13th of 2015, when I got served and I noticed she finally admitted it in her Florida injunction. We drove until gas was low, and when we went to fill up, I ran out of the car, and he threatened me, and I came back. I begged him to take us home. He did. I jumped out of the car and called the police. When I reported it to Luke Markowitz, he didn't take the report because she had just made it look like retaliation and false allegations. Luke Markowitz checked off that there was a prior report. I did what he said and didn't write about the attempted drowning incident because he told me he wouldn't take the report if I did. Luke Markowitz was not supposed to prevent me from making an incident report. His job was only to take the report, not influence it or prevent me from writing the report. In any manner, I should have been allowed to present my side. Officer Markowitz took the other report instead. This action by Luke Markowitz set off a chain of events with destructive consequences. This failure to take the report gave Jerema the foundation she needed to make her allegations look more believable. Officer Luke Markowitz and Officer Stanley C. Lipinski came to the house with me and my children and spoke with my wife privately. The officers then told me they had to take my rifle because she said she was scared, and she gave them my rifle. They told us to calm down and not to argue. They said they weren't going to call CPS, but if they had to come back, they would call them. They left. Carmen calls Jerema twice. Jerema calls her once. After the police leave, Jerema, Carmen, and Lester Diaz speak again for another 84 minutes. She was talking to Carmen about the incidents in front of my kids. I asked Jerema for the phone. Carmen made excuses for Jerema. She said that Jerema was suffering from postpartum depression. I asked Carmen to stay out of our business because she was only enabling Jerema and making things worse. I found my 4-year-old daughter standing in a tub of cold water, shivering, and my 9-month-old son was trying to climb in the tub. They were both unattended. I adjusted the water and moved my son. I approached my wife and asked why she did that. She went into a fit of rage and left the house. Instead of calling 911 herself to report this alleged emergency, she called her friend Carmen Diaz, who was physically in another county at the time, and asked her to call 911. How do I know this? Because she just admitted to it in her Florida injunction. Jerema then came back into the house, still enraged. At this point in time, I didn't know that she made a call. About a half hour later, to my surprise, the doorbell rang. I went downstairs to open the door, and Officer Lipinski and Officer Boyd were standing there. They asked me if my wife and I were arguing. I said yes. They stated they received a 911 call. They asked if they could come in, and I said yes. When they came upstairs and my wife saw them, she then immediately began to cry. They asked me if I wanted to file a report, and I said yes. But it was only because I needed to state what happened, not because I believed 911 should have been called. My wife also gave a report. Officer Lipinski then told me that my wife wanted to take the kids for a couple of hours. I told him that was not a good idea because she was going to kidnap the kids. I also reminded him that I previously reported the drowning incident and the car incident to Luke Markowitz. Lipinski was present for that report. I tried to get him to see what she was doing, but he ordered me to let her leave for a couple of hours. I insisted that she not take the kids, and I offered to show him my evidence of her abusive behavior and previous false allegations. I told him we were documenting our lives for the last 7 years and that I had evidence. I searched my computer for the audio confession, but I had a hard time finding it because I was nervous. Things were spiraling out of control quickly. Lipinski told me he was calling CPS and I should remain home and wait for them to come. I kept looking for the file, but I couldn't find it. Lipinski became impatient and said he didn't have time for this. Now, so far, Lipinski was on duty from at least 7 p.m. the previous evening until the time of this incident, which was approximately 12 noon. So far, Lipinski had worked 17 hours straight, and he appeared agitated and impatient. The officers left. Jurema started frantically packing her car. I knew she wasn't coming back, so I began recording her as she left to obtain evidence of the event.
The police officer told us a couple of hours. A couple of hours is 2 hours.
No, a couple is a couple. You can't put a number to it. As long as they're here and they're sleeping here. They're going to sleep here. They'll be here.
Didn't the police officer say a couple of hours?
A couple of hours. Define what a couple of hours is. Go to the dictionary. Define what a couple of hours is.
Okay, so it's 1 o'clock now, and you're saying you're coming back at 7:30.
Yes, that's a couple of hours.
And you're going to go hang out with who? Who are you going to see right now?
Hey, what's going on, guys? The police officer said that you only had 2 hours, and you're way beyond that. What's going on?
Yeah, you know why? We with the kids, we're in this place where they're playing, and they act just having a good time, and we're eating with them. We're going to be there in a little while.
Where are you?
Over here in Goshen.
Where
That place
exactly?
where they have the... Middletown.
Okay, tell me exactly where you are. I need a name and an address. I need to know where you are. I'm not going to go over there, but I need to know.
I don't know this place. I don't know this place is around here.
Where you at? What?
It's just over here. They're playing in Middletown. Over there in that place where... what is that? The place where Pastor is. In the mall over there? We're in the mall. Over there.
Okay, what store are you at right now?
I'm going to call you right back because I'm outside. I'm not even inside the place.
So can't you see the
car.
sign?
Just get to the car. Okay, I'll call you right back.
Can't you see the sign from where you're at?
I'm going to call you right back right now.
Can't you see the sign from where you're at?
I'm not even in the store.
But you can see the front. You can see the sign. You have my kids.
You're breaking up.
You have my kids, Evie. You have to tell me where you're at.
Yes. What's your name, Mom?
Is Officer Markowitz or Boyd there?
You're speaking to Officer Boyd.
My wife tried to drown my son. I mean, how did this thing turn around?
No. We took that report that day.
No, there's no report on that.
How do you know?
Because I didn't file it. I didn't write it. I tried to give the report, and nobody would take it. And my kids now got pulled in the middle of this, and Goshen Town Police now put my children with the abusers. Do you understand how much trouble this can become?
We didn't do
that. Child Protective Services did that. I actually contacted CPS myself to see what was going on, and they never called me back either.
At what point is it a kidnapping?
Well, if she wants to take him away for fucking 3 weeks on vacation, she can do it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Even when she's telling me that she's taking them away and not bringing them back?
Well, that's a little different.
Come on, that's what's happening here.
And she had you removed from the home is because you made accusations against her that she was a child abuser. And I don't want you to get upset with me. I'm just explaining it to you. That's what happened that night. When you called the cops, that was over.
I waited home all day for CPS. They never showed up. At about 7 p.m., I heard a car pull up across the street. I looked out the window and saw 2 cars parked across the street, a Town of Goshen police squad car and another unmarked vehicle. I went outside and approached the police car. I saw Officer Lipinski and Officer Edwards. I told Officer Edwards that my wife hadn't returned and I thought she kidnapped my kids. Officer Lipinski interjected and said, "Your wife didn't kidnap your kids." I asked him how he knew that. He said, "Your wife and kids are in protective custody." He then told me that he needed to speak with me and the people he was with had questions for me. I asked them to come into my apartment because I didn't want to make a scene. Myself, Officer Lipinski, Officer Edwards, Jesus Cuzo, and another woman entered my house. Lipinski appeared to be very agitated. It is important to note that he has now been working for at least 24 hours straight. I asked him what was going on and he does all the talking. Officer Edwards remained silent the entire time. Jesus Cuzo didn't speak for a while. Lipinski told me, "You have too much religion," and then he accused me of literally throwing a Bible at my wife because he saw a damaged Bible on the stairs. In an accusatory manner, he says, "You met with a pastor in the Comfort Inn. He came to the station." I told him, "Yes, I did. Pastor Irving Rivera is in a lot of trouble and has been asked to step down." Again, I explained that I was producing a documentary about it all. Lipinski didn't believe me. He then said they wanted to take me to the psych unit to evaluate me. At this point, I realized this was getting way out of control. We spoke for about a half an hour. Jesus Cuzo then explained what he wanted to do. I respectfully declined and stated that my wife was misleading them because I witnessed her trying to drown my son. They didn't believe me, but they observed me and conversed with me for at least 45 minutes, and then they left. Officer Stanley C. Lipinski told me to stay home and wait for CPS and not to follow my wife or look for her. A lot happened while I was waiting. I found out what happened after receiving the official police reports. 1 month later, on January 9th, 2012, I went to the Town of Goshen town clerk's office and requested any blotters or police reports pertaining to this case. On January 10th, 2012, I received all of the official reports. Here's what I discovered. Here is Officer Edward J. Edwards' official report of what occurred on December 10th, 2011. At 6:20 p.m., Jurema and her mother, Evelyn Santos Parsons, showed up at the Town of Goshen police station. Walk-in complaint at the station. Writing officers spoke with Jurema LeBoy of 876 Apartment B, Pulaski Highway, who reports a past verbal domestic from earlier today around 12:30 hours with her husband, Tishan Padilla. LeBoy reports verbal only with Padilla, following her around the house outside with a camera and quoting biblical verses. LeBoy completed a New York State domestic incident report. Writing officer spoke with Susan Hughes of Child Protective Services, who was in the area and met at the station to follow up with LeBoy. Reference Town of Goshen 019084-11. A reported child abuse case from a previous domestic report. That's the report I filed. Hughes assessed the children and reported negative findings for child abuse. I reported that my daughter was left in a tub of cold water. What evidence would Susan Hughes find of that at that time? Hughes then spoke with LeBoy and came up with a safety plan for LeBoy and the children so that they did not have to spend the night at the house again. LeBoy was to stay the night at the Micro Suites Hotel in the town of Wallkill until such time she can speak with family court to possibly obtain an order of protection and temporary custody of the kids. LeBoy was to have her mother, Evelyn Parsons, stay with her. Writing officer provided LeBoy with emergency contact information if there is a problem. Writing officer then contacted Mobile Mental Health and spoke with Nancy and Jesus, who met both Officer Lipinski and myself at 876 Pulaski Highway to assess Padilla. Nancy and Jesus spoke with Padilla, then reported to police that Padilla did not wish to be voluntarily assessed at the hospital. And there are negative findings for a mental health arrest by their agency or the police department. No further at this time. Who was Susan Hughes? She was a caseworker for CPS, who at the time of this incident had already been sued in a wrongful death suit. This story made national headlines. She was a caseworker involved in the Landon Pierre death, where the mother drove her minivan into the river, killing her children and committing suicide. Susan Hughes stated in her previous reports that those children who later were killed were not in danger. Regardless of the court decision, she was obviously wrong there, and for some reason, she was still working in the same capacity. I was the one who at least verbally reported the attempted drowning incident that occurred on November 25th, 2011. I also reported the driving incident on December 9th, 2011, where my wife tried to jump out of a moving vehicle and then rip my daughter out of her car seat and take her through 2 miles of farmland at night. On December 10th, I reported again that my wife left my daughter in a tub of cold water and left my son unattended in the bathroom as he tried to climb in. My wife basically reported that I was crazy. I was reporting that she was doing things to the children. Why in the world were Susan Hughes, Officer Edwards, and Officer Stanley C. Lipinski helping her come up with a safety plan? There are many reasons, but the main one was because my wife, a psychiatric nurse, convinced them I was delusional and that she was a victim of domestic violence. Now, here's a key point here. LeBoy was to stay the night at the Micro Suites Hotel. That was the plan according to the police officers and Susan Hughes. Jerema LeBoy never stayed at the Micro Suites Hotel. She went to 3833 Barnes Avenue in the Bronx, 3 counties away, leaving the jurisdiction of Orange County CPS and Orange County Family Court. The only one who figured out that that's where they were was me. But I didn't find them until December 12th. 2011 at 7:27 p.m. 49 hours later, 37 hours longer than the New York State penal law requirement for kidnapping. Nobody knew that my wife was there in the Bronx. At 9:15 p.m. on December 14th, 2011, my doorbell rang. I opened the door and 2 Orange County deputy sheriffs were standing there. I got served with my wife's petition and was given 15 minutes to pack some clothes. They didn't let me take anything but my clothes for court, my laptop, and my camera. I lost my children, my home, my job, and my rights. 2 months later, my job stopped giving me assignments. It was the middle of winter in New York, and I was homeless, living in my truck for the next 4 months. No one from my family helped me or my kids. My friends abandoned me. My wife's plan worked. She made everyone think I was abusive and crazy. All I had left was God. The only tool I had to get justice for my kids was my documentary. The Highwaychild investigations began. I had nothing left to lose and everything to gain back. I turned it up to level 10 and I used it to the fullest. I didn't break the law. I didn't make threats. I didn't seek revenge. But I did seek justice.
Tagos Police.
Hi, may I speak with Officer Levinsky or Lazinski?
Levinsky?
Yes.
Speaking.
You just been avoiding me. I'm just trying to find out why'd you tell me that we can go out for 2 hours and then you went and took a report with her?
Sir, you misunderstood me. We're extremely busy and tied up here, okay? I have other obligations. I'm not your personal police officer, and we're tied up with the DWI right now.
Don't you understand that I could have been right? I need copies, though, of the reports that she made.
You can come in tomorrow. You can talk to the sergeant, and the sergeant will give you whatever you need. He's the one that authorizes it. If he doesn't think you should have it, then he doesn't give it to you, but you got to talk to a sergeant, okay?
This is a serious matter. This is a serious matter. You know, all these kidnappings that are going on, and the guy that in Goshen that killed his wife. I mean, this is not a game. This is my kids, and you just haven't helped me at all. Hello?
Hello, Tagos Police.
Yes, may I speak with Officer Lipinski, please?
Speaking.
Officer Lipinski, this is Tishan Padilla again. Do you have a few minutes?
Actually, not really. We're very busy. Are you recording this conversation?
Yes, I am.
If you have any questions, you can come talk to my sergeant now. I will not be video recorded over the telephone. Thank you.
Are you at least willing to admit that after all this time and considering and hearing everything, and maybe you made a mistake?
Possible. I'm only human. Sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes I don't.
When you slammed Hannah's finger in the door, when you got angry.
That was an accident. Okay?
That was an accident, but you were angry. It was out of your anger, though.
Yes, it was out of my anger, but guess what? I took responsibility. Again, you can bring up Tisha, do whatever you want to do. I'm going to sleep, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'm still going to go ahead of time, because I'm still a good parent.
Yes, I'm calling to report an instance of child abuse. My daughter was hit with a hammer.
Okay, where is this happening, Aspen?
3833 Barnes Avenue.
In the Bronx?
Yes.
My daughter was hit with a hammer. She has a large gash on her foot.
Okay.
The car's missing. I don't know if they're here now. So.
Yeah, we just saw the child. There's no large gash, and the child
on her
stated,
left foot.
Child stated that she was playing around and tripped and hit a toy or something.
Yeah, she also said that in front of a supervised visit in a supervised visitation on New Year's Eve, she said she was hit with a hammer. So I knew there's some coaching going on here, and there's an ongoing investigation. I need ACS to get involved.
Okay, you have ACS involved.
Not here. We have in Orange County, not.
Okay, so you have to tell the ACS worker that's in
No, I need your department to. I'm already working with Officer McLennan from Domestic Violence. She already took a report. This is an ongoing investigation. There's been a drowning incident.
Okay, so that's something you have to take up with her. I mean, there's no. If a child like that got hit with a can, I saw it. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
They're being charged with child abuse, though.
Okay.
On 5 reports already. Well, my children have been in.
You realize you can call ACS yourself. You know that, right?
Right, but
I'm not mandated to call ACS.
But they're being accused, and it's been reported that there's child abuse going on.
So call ACS.
But there's evidence.
No, she doesn't.
She has a gash on her. She has 2 gashes on her feet. They're at least this big.
Okay.
I've always heard. Everybody tells me,
why don't you report this? And I say, I have been reporting it, but nobody wants to take the report. And so it's just really frustrating, and I just feel like the mother always gets, you know, everything goes in her favor because everybody assumes that the children are in the best situation with the mother, and in this case, that's not true. And that's it. And I'm just concerned about my children, so don't take it personal. I'm sorry.
Okay. I would go and I'll make the visit. I'll assess the environment, the home, and make sure that the children are fine.
Okay, and I'm sorry. What's your name? Your
Ms.
first?
De La Cruz?
De La Cruz? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going to go to 3833 Barnes?
Yes. The address that you gave here. Good afternoon, yes.
Hi, is this Miss De La Cruz?
Yes.
Hi, Miss De La Cruz. This is Tishan Padilla.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
I'm not on the case anymore just because, you have an open investigation over there in Orange County, so she's your worker.
Do you mean that your investigation is terminated?
Yes.
How come nobody told me?
Well, I just did it today.
Can I just ask you this?
The case is closed is because the family doesn't live here, so we can't, there's nothing for us to do.
I mean, oh, well, I guess they fooled you because they were living there. She was back and forth. You did visit in the Bronx, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, now that it's over, you can say you visited at 3833 Barnes, right?
I visited at the address that was given on the case.
Was that 3833 Barnes? Or you can't tell me that?
No, I can't tell you that.
What can you tell me about the case since I did initiate the case?
There was nothing. Your daughter has no bruises on her foot.
Wait, you went to see the bruise and you didn't see the bruise?
There was nothing there. If she was hurt, then there was nothing. If it was with a hammer, she would have had a mark there, but there was nothing on her foot.
Can you tell me which foot you saw?
I saw both of them.
Wow, because you know there's an EMS report stating, and there's photos before and after your visits, and there's proof that there was a bruise there. Like Miss Wilkins said the same thing.
There, it might have been healed by the time that I went.
Can you tell me the date that you went?
I went once the report was called in.
Can you give me the specific date?
On the same Thursday that the report was called in.
Do you remember the date though?
105.
January 5th?
January 5th, yes.
And that was a Thursday.
Yeah.
You saw the barefoot?
Yes, sir. I know how to do my investigation, and I saw the foot, no socks, no shoes, and there was no bruises.
Wow.
If you called the police and EMS, and if they saw something, they should have done something.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it with my own two eyes.
They're being charged with child abuse, though. My children have been in.
You realize you can call ACS yourself. You know that, right?
Right, but
I'm not mandated to call ACS.
Now, the police officer stated that he said, and I'm quoting him.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it with my own two eyes.
They're being charged with child abuse, though.
Okay.
Okay, sir. He might have saw the bruise when he went over there to do the visit, but when I went to do the visit, the bruise was gone. You have to remember, this case came in, you called it in on the 5th. Supposedly, your child got hurt over the weekend. You waited until Thursday to call it in, so by that time, there was probably nothing. So I can't look for a bruise that's not there.
All right.
I didn't see anything.
Do you understand the situation you're in right now? You've demonstrated incompetence.
Sir, I'm not in any situation.
I've been recording every single conversation.
It's nice that you're recording the conversation, okay? My notes are recorded in the investigation, so if there's any issues, they'll go into the
You should go back. You should go back and do your job right. You should go back and do your job right.
You could call my supervisor and talk to her.
So why don't you put her on the phone now? Transfer me now, please.
I can transfer you from my phone. Her
So
telephone number is 718-239-5255.
And what's her name?
Miss Diamond.
And what is her exact title?
She's the supervisor.
That's what it says on her paycheck, the supervisor?
This is Miss Simon, S-I-M-O-N.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't... Okay, Miss Simon. Are you Corinne De La Cruz's supervisor?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is the first time you and I are speaking. Are you I'm Tishan Padilla. I initiated,
Okay, I was listening to the whole conversation.
All right.
I need to let you know, we have nothing more to do with that case.
Your caseworker has demonstrated incompetence, and I have her on tape. I need somebody to address this. I'm going to keep escalating this if I have to. But this woman has demonstrated incompetence.
Okay, I would advise you can, as far as I know, the worker followed the protocol.
She admitted that she didn't see the bruise. I have photos with metadata. The metadata proves the dates that the photos were taken.
Right, and she also explained to you, I heard her explain to you, she didn't see it by the time...
That's how she demonstrated her incompetence. That's the demonstration of the incompetence.
When we went out, we didn't see it.
Oh, you went too?
You also had, wait one second.
Okay.
You also had an Orange County worker who saw the child prior to us seeing the kid, and they didn't see it either. So what you need to do with all that slew of information you have, go to the police station. If you take it to the police station and they see, the bruise that, you're saying that the child had, they're going to take actions right away.
Well, my children have been in...
You realize you can call ACS yourself, you know that, right?
Right, but
I'm not mandated to call ACS.
But they're being accused, and it's been reported that there's child abuse going on.
So call ACS.
But why won't you handle...
Excuse me, there's nothing that New York can do, and I cannot, because of the amount of cases that I have coming in here.
So I have to wait for my daughter to end up in an oven before you do something? Is that what you're saying to me?
Okay.
That you're too busy?
Let me help you to understand something. What is it that I said that you did not understand?
That you're not taking responsibility for your own worker.
Listen, New York cannot
do
anything about it. We don't have jurisdiction over your children.
But you inspected my child in your jurisdiction.
I hope you're taping this too. Okay, listen to me carefully.
You inspected my child in your jurisdiction.
Carefully. There's two people that didn't see the bruise. Okay,
so they're both incompetent.
Your eyes don't have jurisdiction, but hey, here's my manager's number. You ready?
Go for it.
Sylvia Hansen, 718 39 5194. Okay, and let her know I referred you to her. My name is Laureen, Laureen Simon.
And what's your title?
I'm a supervisor 2.
You know what? Whatever happens, don't worry about it. I'm not going to impede in any way your relationship with Hannah. You can have full custody. You can have whatever. I'm not going to stop you from being Hannah's father.
Am I down? What is my status? Am I the one who initiated this before the investigation?
Yes.
Okay. So when did you begin?
I got your case on 12/10. I just need to go in and look. So now, whenever another report comes in, like the report that you had called in when you were down in when you were down in the Bronx, all of New York, it automatically links it to me.
When was the first time that you saw the kids?
The time I saw the kids was here in our office. Within the couple of days of the report coming in, I saw the kids here.
You have a date? Because I'm trying to make a timeline because like everybody's saying.
The report came in on 12/10. Okay, and the after hours went out on 12/10. Don't know if you were home or not, but she saw all of the children.
So Officer Lipinski came to me at 7:30 p.m. on the 10th, and he told me that the children were in and my wife were in custody of CPS.
They've never been in custody of us. Okay. Well, we definitely were involved because somebody went and saw the children that night at like 6 o'clock at night on the 10th of December.
Okay.
That
all right.
wouldn't be us. We would strictly be for the children. And if your children were taken into custody, they'd be removed from you and your wife.
Did you get my message about the children being left unattended?
Yes.
Now, as far as I know, it's against the law to do that.
Right. It is, absolutely.
And so what happened was when we first went to the house, and she wasn't there. Me and Officer Thomas from Goshen PD. She wasn't there. So
Saturday night, right?
I believe so. I'm trying to remember today is Monday. Yeah, it was like Saturday afternoon. It was daytime. And as we were driving away, Officer Thomas continued down Pulaski Highway, and I made a right onto Pumpkin Swamp. And we had just separated. And as we separated, my wife drove past me. So I pulled over, I turned around, and I called Goshen PD. Now, it takes a minute to get from where she was to the house, but it took about 10 to 15 minutes for us to catch up to each other, regroup, and then head back to the house. So what I'm saying is the kids were probably left unattended for 5 to maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
And it's not the first time it's happened. And
well, this is what I can tell you. I already called the Goshen police, and I need confirmation. If he confirms with me that he saw the children in the car and intend, I have to make a new CPS report.
Luke was barefooted, and it was cold. And I looked again at Hannah's foot, and the gash is still there. Maybe you were shown the right foot instead of the left foot. I don't know, but the gash is still there.
Somebody will need to see them tonight then. This is what I'm going to do. As soon as I get something from the Goshen PD, which is, I'm sure I have it now, called them a while ago, and if it does state that on there, then I'm a mandated report, I have to make a new report. And either somebody will see the children tonight, or I will see them myself tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's what will happen. So I'm just asking what had happened, because you had made a report regarding, I guess, a whole bunch of different things that had occurred on a visit, and get the report out. And some of the stuff that you had told me and Leah when you met with us was also on there. So what happened on the visit?
Do you have the report from Officer Boyd?
Yes.
It's pretty much accurate right there. I wrote it myself.
So now we didn't see a gash on her foot.
When? When did you see it?
When the EM, I saw the kids today.
Did you look at the bottom of her left foot?
Yes.
I have a photo of it, so it's pretty solid evidence. Okay, and again, you said you saw Hannah and she didn't have a gash?
I saw the kids today, and she was fine.
You saw her left foot in the bottom and there's no gash?
I did not see a gash on her.
You checked the bottom of her foot and there was no gash?
I did not see one.
Okay, maybe you looked at the wrong foot, because I have the video. I can send it to you, and I want you to have my evidence, like we said, but I'm homeless right now, and I'm rebuilding my life and building this case at the same time, so it's not that easy for me to get you everything, but I will try. Do you still want the confession on tape that you asked for?
Like the one that you were going to try to see about getting a disc or something and transferring it?
Yeah. I guess I'm going to have to see. I don't have money for it. I'll work something out.
Well, it's not a critical thing to have right now.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll touch base at some point this week. Okay, Mr. Padilla?
All right, thank you, Miss.
Okay,
it's Miss,
thank you.
Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Okay, Mrs. Wilcom, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
I mean, the thing is, when I see them, I can talk to Hannah a little bit more to see about the stuff you're saying about the coaching and what's going on when she's visiting and, things like that.
Ask her about the hammer. Ask her how she got the bruise.
I didn't see that, and either did the other workers that we sent out. Nobody saw that. If you have that type of information, I would like to see it, hear it, and I can document that in the report to the judge.
This is like everybody's keeping me out of the loop. And everybody's coming back and telling me that they're not seeing what I saw and what I've documented.
Okay.
And it's frustrating. Back to the last question though. If I give you all this evidence, if I give you my wife confessing to abuses, and if I give you the audio file of my wife saying you can have full custody of Hannah, can that do anything?
I will put it in my report to the judge so that the judge can read that I heard it, read it, whatever. I can put that in there, yes. You have 3 kids.
What is the law against having more children and trying to help your wife recover? I mean,
okay, how is that helping your wife recover by bringing innocent children into the world?
So you're saying, this is what I'm saying again. Are you implying that it's my fault that my wife abuses my children because I made the children with my wife?
No. What I'm saying to you is when we were meeting, that was the point. You're saying all these things that your wife has been abusive. She's been abusing your children. All this stuff is happening. Okay. Well, you saw this from the time you had your first child.
Well, she was making progress. Okay. And every time the Parsons got involved, she what's the word I'm looking for? She regressed. So eventually I removed my family from the Parsons. And then she got better. And things were better. But then she kept going back to the Parsons because Joe Parson and Evie Parson, remember, all of their children moved 1,500 miles away from them for a reason. They're intrusive. They don't know how to respect other people's marriages. They destroy other people's lives. Have you looked at my reports versus my wife's reports?
What do you mean reports? What do you
Police reports.
What do you mean?
Did you get the blotter from Officer Thomas?
No.
No?
Nope.
What happened with that?
I don't know.
You told me that you were gonna go look for it.
I requested it from them.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't, I can follow up with them and find out. And
you said that if there...
a ton of reports from you guys. Every time there's been a situation, we request it.
Wait, but you told me, I called you when it happened. I called you when I reported it. And you said that if Officer Thomas put it in a report or a blotter, and you found it, that you would go to the house and investigate.
I did go to the house after that. I
you
absolutely
did?
went to the house. Oh, yeah. I have to see the children
Did you bring
a couple
up
times a month.
Did you bring up the fact that she left the kids in the car?
No.
So then that issue never got addressed.
You're lying because Mommy didn't hurt Mookie.
Who told you that?
Grandma did.
Yeah, when?
She told me that you're lying because Mommy hurt Mookie.
Oh, Grandma's not supposed to talk to you about that, okay?
Yeah, I know that.
If Grandma talks to you about that, you have to tell Grandma you're not supposed to talk about that, Grandma.
Children's Services.
Hi, Mrs. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, it's Tishan Padilla. Did you listen to the CD that I gave you?
Which CD?
I mailed you by certified mail. Oh, not by certified. I mailed you a package with a bunch of evidence, including Jerema's statements about her.
No, the only time I ever heard anything was when you were in the office with Leah.
You told me you had it and you were waiting for the IT person to.
Right. Well, the IT person did not do that yet. No.
So you never reviewed my evidence.
Not what you dropped off here.
But
only what we heard when we met me, you, and Leah.
But you requested my evidence and you never reviewed it?
Okay, well, sir, first of all, we don't automatically just start doing that. There's several cases going on. That's not gonna... That disc of what you sent in, I heard that in that office when me, you, and Leah were in there.
I only played 1% of it, and you guys started questioning me and never listened to it.
You know what? I'm going to end the call now, okay? You'll need to continue talking with Joe LaSousa, and you will receive the letters in the mail regarding my part of the investigation.
When should I expect that?
I don't know. It doesn't come from me. It comes from Albany.
All
Sometimes it takes months.
My name is Susan Hughes with Child Protective Services.
Why not at that time at night? Why not call the father who had already reported 2 previous incidents of child abuse? Why not before you?
That, you know, again,
you basically helped her. You basically enabled her. I'm sorry. Can you hear me out for 1 second? Hear me out for 1 second.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that you basically helped her kidnap my kids. And you started,
kidnap your kid?
Because kidnapping is taking somebody by force or
Obviously
fraud.
You're getting upset with me. I'm going to call the
No. I'm
supervisor
just
now.
talking. I'm just talking.
Okay, I'm going to contact the supervisor now because you're getting upset with me.
I'm not getting upset, Miss Hughes.
No, it seems like you are.
Miss Hughes, I'm a pro se litigant and I'm investigating my case, and I have every right to ask you about the incidents of that night, and I'm not upset.
Okay, but we're talking about tonight's additional information. We're not talking.
But you never contacted me, and now we're finally getting in touch. Over 5 months later.
I never contacted you. It was not my job to contact
not
you
within
that night.
2. But all I'm saying is, why didn't you call me?
I'm not the worker assigned to the case. I explained that to you.
But you were present. Why didn't you call me that night or the next day?
It is not my job to do that. It was not my job to do that. You need to address any concerns with Joe LaSousa.
But your case is still open. Your case is still open.
No, the case is not still open. But thank you. Call him.
No, thank you.
All of your questions.
You're
Thank
incompetent.
You very much.
You are incompetent. You know that?
Okay, I will document that you stated I am
Yes,
incompetent.
because I will be putting that in a report.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I feel about you. Did you get my message about my findings with the violation of your order?
I don't have an order. The judge issues orders, not me.
I have a letter saying, well, I guess then, I mean, your name is on it.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
It says...
I don't issue orders, so...
It says, it's a notice of appearance.
Okay, so it's not an order.
And it's signed by you. Well, your name is on the bottom. And it says, the undersigned further demands that no party to this action or agent or party discuss the pending litigation or the facts underlying the pending litigation with the above named children without the prior notice to and consent of the undersigned, that being you.
Right.
So I just wanted to report to you that that notice of appearance and that demand, it says it demands, that demand was violated. And it demonstrates a disregard for the law, and it demonstrates, you know, some type of maybe parental alienation. And as you are the children's attorney, I thought you would be interested in that because you're the undersigned on that.
Okay, yeah, fine. I've got that message, but what I'm saying is that that is not an order. The judge would have to make the finding that there has been a violation.
Well, so you're representing the children, and I made a discovery. I'm reporting it to you. So how would we proceed?
Mr. Padilla, you make discoveries. You have done you have made a complete file of evidence. Whether or not you're going to be able to get that into evidence is the question. And this is yet another question of fact that has to be determined by the court.
All right, I'm just, just staying on track here. I just thought since you demanded this, that you would be interested if this demand was not respected. That's all.
Okay, is there anything else?
So you're saying you're not interested and you're not going to proceed?
I did not say I am not interested. I am not going to discuss the case or my treatment of the case with you.
And you're not even going to, as a pro se litigant, you're not, I mean, you would talk to other licensed attorneys. I mean, you're just not treating me with any respect for my right to be a pro se litigant. I get it.
Okay, Mr.
I'm not a dairy farmer here.
I'm not going to argue this point with you, okay? We haven't started the trial yet. I am not required to disclose to you all the evidence that I intend to put in.
But you haven't disclosed any. Do you have any?
Where are your demands?
I'm making it to you right now on the phone.
No, you're not, because they have to be done in writing.
That's not true. The Family Court Act says that I can.
Everything. I know nothing.
The Family Court Act says.
Leave it at that, and I'll see
so
you on the court.
give me your email address. So.
I'm losing myself. I'm freaking dying here, trying to sustain some water so that I can freaking even just maintain some freaking normalcy. To get up in the morning, like I'm feeling fucking depressed here. I'm like, I can't do this, man. I'm losing myself totally.
You admitted to me that you were passive aggressive last night. That you struggled with. You admitted to me that you got a problem with lying.
So what? So what? Because you're my husband. Because I actually trust that you will actually
help you.
No.
Help you?
One time you knocked and you said that you must come back, and now it's a long time.
Yeah. Are you sad that I left?
Yeah, because I thought you were coming straight back, and now you're not.
And my kids are saying they want to see me, and now my daughter's getting mad at me because she keeps asking me, Daddy, when am I going to see you? When am I going to see you? And they got all these stupid rules that I can't tell her what's going on. So I got to figure out what to tell her without lying to her, because I'm not going to lie to her. And now she's probably mad at me because she thinks I don't want to see her.
Yes. Hello, this is Anna. Ray! Daddy! I want you.
You want me?
Yes, because you're not coming into a long, long time. You have a mom. We need a dad. We need a dad. And you have to come back here.
What do you tell your friends? You say...
I call you Daddy the Highwaychild.
I'll tell you what though, I'm never gonna leave again. When I get back, I'm never gonna leave again.
Promise?
I promise. I would never let anything take me away from you guys again.
Yeah, but you're missing walk.
I know, I'm missing him walk, I know. I gotta hurry up and get home so I can see him walking.
Now?
Well, I'm trying.
Lord! I want my kids back, please!
You love Daddy?
Yes, I do.
I know you do. I love you too.
Yes, bye.
Okay, bye, T. I love you.
Love you. Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Tisha, and I love you.
Anytime you leave, you have to come right back.
Yeah.
Promise?
I promise. When I get home, I'm never leaving you guys again. I promise. And
Your daddy's gonna come back.
she knows that already.
Yeah, that's good that she knows that. My wife filed for custody first, and I counter-petitioned. The only evidence my wife submitted in court was her own false testimony, but not one other piece of evidence. I testified and entered evidence up to Exhibit W. Most of it was what is here in the video. In spite of the fact that I was never accused of child abuse, and my wife didn't have a single police report, hospital report, photo, or video as evidence of any of her false allegations, Judge Deborah J. Kedash awarded sole custody to my wife. She also extended the order of protection on behalf of my wife and kids against me for 2 more years. As soon as the trial was over, my wife invited me back into our home. I raised my kids for an entire year while my wife worked, in violation of the unjust order of protection by Judge Kedash. This proved that my wife was lying and that she knew it. Why else would someone pay up to $15,000 on legal fees, forensic evaluations, and allege for 9 months that a father shouldn't be allowed near his children, and then the first thing they do is contradict and violate their own order and leave that same alleged dangerous father alone with the kids? Who's this guy? Martinsaurus?
Hello.
Who gave you that nice haircut?
Me, Mirror.
Who gave you the nice haircut?
Mirror.
In August of 2013, my wife was fired from her job. For fear that CPS would take the children, she fled to Stuart, Florida, where she now resides, crossing state lines in the furtherance of the kidnapping. She left all of my children's clothes, toys, and memories. She left all of our furniture and belongings, thousands of dollars worth of things we invested in for our family. Without a plan, a job, a place to live, or family in Florida, I decided I had to be with my children. I could not abandon them to a woman who tried to kill her own son. I packed as much of my kids' things as I could. I brought what I needed to work. I built a box on the roof of my car and packed my truck. I knew I would be homeless, but I had to protect my children. 10 days after she fled, I drove to Florida. I lived in my truck for 9 months. It was hell on earth, but I spent 2 to 3 days a week with my kids. Every day I had them meant they weren't with the abusers. I waited patiently until I could figure out how God was going to fix this and give me and my children justice. My wife and I are not legally separated or divorced. We are legally married. She now has a boyfriend from our former church named Adrian Oscar Diaz. Adrian Diaz sleeps over her apartment for 2 to 3 days a week with my kids. I asked them to stop conducting their affair in front of my kids. And in a text message, Adrian Oscar Diaz threatened to shoot me. I reported it to the Martin County Sheriff's Office twice, and they said it was not a crime. The order of protection expired in July of 2014. On April 28, 2015, Jerema filed an injunction against me before Judge Lori Buchanan. She testified before Lori Buchanan that she in fact lived with me for the entire year while the order of protection was in place. She testified that she then fled to Stuart, Florida. Judge Buchanan didn't even blink. Buchanan allowed my wife to testify about alleged events from December of 2011 through April of 2015. She also allowed her to give some evidence of her allegations without following the rules of evidence. When it was my turn to testify, I started from the same time period that my wife did, and I told Buchanan I witnessed my wife trying to drown my son. She then stopped me from testifying and put the injunction in place and ordered that I had to pay to see my children. Exactly what Deborah Kedash did. The good thing was that in Jerima's Florida injunction, she gave me the last pieces of evidence I needed to prove the kidnapping. I began putting together the video presentation of this case. Now you know the truth. Will you help or pass the buck like everyone else?
My daddy is a highway child, and he didn't know that.